Hello lovelies. A slightly tedious job, but well worth it. It's a day for sowing quite a lot of seeds. I'm getting my compost ready. So I'm just, oh, it's a bit blustering today. Just running it through this riddle. And then over here, I'm dumping out big lumpy twiggy bits. And in my bucket, I've got all my lovely fine medium to sow seeds in. Actually, some of the seeds I'm going to sow today are quite big, so they could cope with a slightly lumpier compost, but it just makes it easier doing this. Right, nearly there. I've just spent sort of 10 minutes getting, hopefully, everything that I need together, so I can do the job in one fell swoop. So I've been sorting out sewing modules, trays to put the modules in, propagator lids, more loo rolls, compost, seed, and yes, I had to buy some more plant labels. £1.20 for 50. It's not a lot of money. But I really didn't want to spend that £1, even that £1.20, because I know that somewhere, buried somewhere in this garden, I've got plant labels. Thank you for all your suggestions of places to look. Most of those places you suggested I already had looked. A couple of them I hadn't, so I went and had a look. I still can't find the blighters. Right. Yeah, so just getting everything together, and once I've got everything out, everything that I thought I needed, I'm just looking at my list again to check what exactly am I sewing today, so I can say, right, that's for them, that's for them, that's for that, that's for t'others. Just, yeah, like I said, I just want to get it done in one fast swoop. Also, just to say, in terms of, oh, I'll tell you about timings in a sec when I sit down and do the first seed. But for now, that's my sprinkling on the top to cover seeds. That's my bucket of lovely fine medium for filling all the modules with. That's the lumpy bumpy stuff that can just go straight on the garden. So now I'm going to get myself set up with my first lot of seeds. And then I'll tell you about the timing, because there's something very specific with one of my seeds this year. And it's going to be a highly scientific experiment. Yay! Right. Oh, messy. So that's my first lot of modules filled with my growing medium. It's 4 by 7. I can get 28 seeds in here. That's plenty. I'm going to start. Oh, let me just say right from the outset, I'm going to be sewing a couple of things which will be brought on indoors, hence modules and propagator lids. They're unheated, they'll just sit in the window, just give them that little bit of extra warmth to help them get going, because it's still really quite chilly. It's about 10 degrees today, and it was a really damp start to the day. We had another load of rain, so I think that dampness makes it feel even chillier. Yeah, about 10 degrees. So some for indoors, some are going to be outdoors. I'll tell you which as we go along. But the reason, okay, that's one of the ones I want today. The reason, tomatoes, cute peppers, pretty much need them all. Actually, let's just leave them propped in the box. The reason I wanted to mention the date specifically is because I'm sowing my first thing, I'm sowing at exactly the same time, well, give or take maybe 1 or 2 days. I'm sowing at the same time as Paul. So it's Easter weekend for me. you probably won't see this for about 10 days, but yeah, it's Easter weekend and Paul and I are coordinating so that he sows his this weekend as well. So he might have sown his yesterday, he might sow them tomorrow, but essentially what we're after is doing them pretty much the same time, and it is, get there eventually, tomatoes. And it's a highly scientific experiment. So this is my tomato seeds saved from my harvest last year. So this is the first seed from growing tomatoes in Swanage. The seed I used last year for them had been harvested from my London garden in the summer of 23. Didn't have the pot in 24. So I sowed London seeds last year here, and the fruits that came, I saved some for seed, and that's the seed for this year. And I've given half, well, not necessarily half, but I've given some of them to Paul because, well, anyone who's been following me for a while will have seen over the years, I get pretty much monster tomato plants. Every year I have to kind of nip the top out and nip them out at the top at about 6.5 foot tall. Any taller I can't reach. Plus I want the fruit below that to stand the best chance of doing well. I've always reckoned that if I didn't nip the top out, I don't know, they'd get to 8 feet, 10 feet maybe. They've been mad. Paul, conversely, his tomatoes, oh, I've got to be careful because it is a bit breezy, and this is not a kind of no disrespect to Paul, but the last couple of years his tomatoes, some of them have barely got to 2 foot, 3 foot. We both think, I'm going to start popping them in, we both think it's something to do with the ground that they're going into. So that lower half of his allotment, he only had a half plot where his plot is now, and another half plot far side of his allotment site. The adjoining half plot to the half plot he had became free, and he said, yes please, I'd like to have it, so he could have his whole plot all in one place. Slightly interrupted by folk being out and about. Yeah, so Paul got that second half of the plot and he created beds, raised beds using planks. I think they might have been flooring planks, something. So anyway, created raised beds, and then to help fill them had some stable manure from the local stables. Now, there is, I can't remember its name now, but there is a herbicide used that does get into horses' bedding and feed, and then obviously it comes out their other end, and that kills off, I think it kills off everything but grass, hence you'd use it in a hayfield. However, we don't think it's that, because stuff does grow in those beds. It's just that, you know, and how long has he had that plot now? 5, 6 years, that bottom half? It just seems that there have been a few things over the years which just seem to be a bit stunted. So anyway, we're going to do our tomatoes together, just covering them now. I've put 2 per cell. I don't want 2 in every cell, but then whichever the weaker one is, I'll just snip it at soil level, don't pull it out, don't disturb the roots of the other. 28 is more than enough, but I am growing for neighbours this year too. Neighbours have been asking me. So just a little sprinkle on the top. The seeds, when I've popped them in, they're firmly touching the growing medium that I've put them onto. Little sprinkle on the top. Just a very gentle firming. Just make sure it's all in contact. And then a little sprinkle. Actually, the compost is fairly moist, so not too much. Little sprinkle. Label with the date of sowing. And then when I prick them out, I can add another date to that, and I'll know it's my pricking out date. I don't have my notebook, my garden notebook this year still, because it's still packed one day I'll have it, otherwise this is the sort of thing I'd write in my book. Good. Right, that's the first lot done. Okay, one lot of seeds down, quite a few to go. So I'm going to move on to some larger seeds now. I'm going to do my squash and courgette. So I've actually already written my labels. So 3 different lots of squash. So this module has, it's 5 by 3. So I'm going to do 3 of each of 3 different squash, and 2 each, if I can get my labels, 2 different courgettes. So this is a bit of a combination of some old seeds, some saved seeds, so it's a bit of an experiment really. Right, okay, starting off, absolutely bog standard wolf and butternut. These I bought, I think it must have been for my last allotment year, 23, because they were packed in 22, so the seeds getting a bit old now, but we'll give them a go. And sorry to bore anyone who's been watching me for all these years, but just to reiterate, when I'm sowing my squash seed, it's a nice big seed to handle. There we go. I don't sow it sort of flat like that. I sow it so it's sideways on. It's never been an issue for me, but it's thought that sowing them that way, it's proposed that sowing them that way means they're less likely to rot in the soil. If there's excess moisture on them, it can drain through and pass to the seed. I don't really know how much difference it makes. I do it anyway because I've got to put them in anyway, so what does it matter, you know, if I take a bit more time to turn it on its side, if that helps. Now, on to uchiki curry. So if you saw the garden last year, it's the one that was making its getaway, climbing into the viburnum tree. Beautiful, beautiful orange skin. It became a really dark, gorgeous, deep orange. Ooh. It was, I adored seeing it in the garden, and when the afternoon sun got round to there by about sort of 6 o'clock, it would glow in the sun. I'd grow it just for how it looks. Then the flesh of it, again, it's a really beautiful deep orange flesh. I mean, people say, how does it taste? I mean, all squash pretty much tastes the same, doesn't it? I don't know that my palate is discerning enough. It was tasty. It had a good, strong, rich flavour. So I saved some seed now, and these seeds are huge. In the allotment, I never used to save any squash seed because I just grew so many different varieties, all sorts of squash. I mean, I think in some years there were probably 20 different squash varieties, and they cross-pollinate like, they can cross-pollinate like billio. However, this is a different family to butternut, so it shouldn't have cross-pollinated. So in go my saved seeds, but as a backup, I did buy some. I thought, I was mentioning I couldn't remember who these are from. You've seen a couple of these packets now. They're just called the Organic Seed Specialists. They're at the Herbery in Wiltshire, so just down the road from me. Organic Seed Specialists. I went to them because the lovely, the wonderful Seed Cooperative is no more. It's such a shame. Not only could you get your organic seeds from them, but often a lot of the seeds were biodynamic. So if you're a biodynamic gardener and organic, great. Anyway, let's see how this new company work out for me. Lovely, huge seeds actually. Oh, that makes me hungry. I do enjoy pumpkin seeds. Yes, when I'm prepping squash, save the seed for eating, of course. Okay, so that's all the squash I'm doing. So that's 9. I don't think I'm gonna have space to grow 9. I'm being typical me that my dreams, my aspirations are bigger than my garden, and I'm still, you know, in my head, I'm still massively adjusting from being an allotment grower to being a back garden grower, and it's a tiny back garden. I mean, if you think about it, each of the beds here, where I've got the garlic in one side and the broad beans in the other, that would be the equivalent of 2 of 20 of my beds at the allotment, plus more space at the allotment. So we'll see. Right, so this is some old seed. It was given to me. It's not organic, it's courgette. This is sow before the end of 2024. I'm going to sow it anyway, because this is what I did last year. And that really is the last week, and they did fine for me. I think with out-of-date seeds, I know I've mentioned this before, you can try and sprout them just to see if they're viable. I think if you are absolutely relying on what you're growing for your food, give them a go, but have some backups as well, just in case. So I bought this from that organic seed company. They're called Black Beauty. Needs good light, harden off, keep well watered, mulch well, harvest often, harvest often. That's the key with courgette, isn't it? I mean, that one of them I had last year that had come from this, it ended up with a stalk 2.5 getting off of 3 meters long, trailing across the patio, because every time I harvested it was putting more out and more out. And just as I was saying recently about the courgette soup, it's such a lovely, easy one to make. Super tasty with that addition of the cardamom. Fill the freezer with it in the summer so that by the winter you've got some really gorgeous soup to have. And look at me, that's my last courgette soup I had at the end of March from last summer's courgette, so they did me well. So if all 6 courgettes grow, I'm going to have a dilemma. So this is essentially, this is 15 across the squash and courgette. Where are they going to go? I don't know. Right, okay, that lot's done. But these are going to come. This is another one for indoors to start with the prop. This lid doesn't fit. I might swap it for. I'll show you the peppers and celery in a second. They're indoors, how they're getting on. I'll swap it with their lids because their lids are a little bit bigger and will fit better. But good. Right, what's next? We're going to do some. Yeah, we'll do some little uns. Moving on to the little uns, I just filmed a whole section without pressing record. So I've actually sowed some already, and I'll come on to these. Basically, this tray, this module, it's the smaller modules. It's 4x7, so it's 28 modules in here. And in here, I'm sowing both beetroot and chard. So this is the lovely art house beetroot from Sarah and Ian. I'm really glad because I didn't sow any beetroot last year. I mean, the whole garden was a bit sort of last minute, like, quick, sow something, chuck something in. Really glad to have them, my beet burgers apart from anything else, but I've got a plan for them to be along the edge of the beds. Last year, what I discovered, once the beds were cleared of all the weeds, the birds, the sparrows, love to have a dust bath in the front edge of that bed. And every time they did, they were just flicking all the soil out of the bed onto the patio. Beautiful to watch, but then to pick up the soil and put it back into the bed. So eventually I put that strip along the front of like chicken wire, but much smaller holes, so the birds, they could still have their dust bath, but they had to do it further back in the bed so the soil stayed in the bed. However, it's not particularly attractive having that mesh there, so what I thought was the beetroot can be planted along the front, so that hopefully that will be enough to keep the soil in place. Now, I've already popped it in, I haven't covered it yet, but there's 2 or 3 seeds per module, and this is exactly how I used to sow them for the allotment too. Because they're in these modules, you can see how the modules are shaped slightly like this. It encourages their root growth. When it comes time to plant, and also the modules, have I got an empty one to show you? No, they've got really quite generous holes underneath. It's so easy to sort of pop out that whole plug, and I don't thin them. So if they come up with 2 or 3, they stay as 2 or 3 and grow on together. And then when I'm harvesting with something like beetroot, you know, every time I'm harvesting one, if there's only 2 others left, it gives them a bit more space to grow. So I harvest from alternate clumps, as it were. The chard, I will do exactly the same. I mean, they're the same family, except with this one wanting to eat that lovely big bulbous bulb. It's not quite a root because it sits on the top. Obviously with the chard, we're after the stalks and the leaves. The chard, I'm not going to sow quite so many because I'm looking now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 clumps of chard from last year. And because it's a cut and come again veg, I've been cutting, they've been coming, I've been cutting, they've been coming, I've been cutting, they've been coming. They've done me throughout the whole winter. So I've got 8 modules. I will put in, and it's a nice big seed to be able to handle. Let me show you, so you see. Let me pull one of the beetroot seeds back out, so you can. I don't know if you'll be able to see. I don't want to. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see. I mean, they're almost identical. But with the chard again, I'll pop 2 per module. If all 8 modules come up all 2, that's fine. I can do like I did last year. I popped a little bit out the front. The stuff out front got mashed by some sort of, I don't know what attacked it. It's like flea beetle damage. But yeah, I just ripped through the chard at the front. So I'm glad it didn't find the chard in the back. But it's such a lovely plant to have in the border anyway, especially through winter when, you know, we've got these dark, dismal days, we've got these beautiful, bright coloured stalks. I'll always go for a rainbow selection, or this one was called 5 colours. But yeah, you know, I've got yellows, pinks, reds. Absolutely gorgeous through winter. Why wouldn't you? Right, I'll get them covered. Now these are going to stay outside. I'll get them covered. And then the last thing to do is, I've got some extra loo roll innards here. I'm going to use them for, also from Sarah and Ian, also from the Art House Unlimited collection, some peas. I wasn't planning to grow peas this year. Does it say what variety? Oh, approximately 9 seeds in a pack. That's fine. There's not many, but I'm thinking maybe one of my grow bags, one of the black grow bags. I could pop them in there, build them a little teepee. I'll start them in the loo rolls for now, because then if they don't do very well, I'm not kind of hogging a bag that one of the grow bags I could then use for something else. So I'll get on with that as well. First things first, get these lovelies, get them covered. Again, you know, they don't have to be in there hugely deeply. Half a centimetre maybe. And exactly as I was saying with the tomatoes, just once I'd filled the modules, just pop, you know, a couple of knuckles just to firm down the compost a bit, so there's not any great sort of air holes in there, which will all just sort of sink anytime they get rained on. Just give the seeds a little tiny bit of a firm, just so they're in good contact with that growing medium, whatever you're using to grow them in, whether it's garden soil or compost or whatever you're using. And then a little bit over the top, and again then just you know, the lightest of light, little tippy tappy, firm them in. Do you know what? it's getting darker by the minute. We're not supposed to have rain till this evening. It's bank holiday weekend in England or in the UK. It's what happens, isn't it? Yeah, so outside, and then I'll get going on the peas in a second. Oh, it's so lovely this stage of the year, isn't it? Seeding. There were some other things I was looking at. I was thinking, oh, I think, no, I'm going to hold off maybe sort of 2 or 3 weeks. This is not all the seeding I'm going to be doing. Oh no. I've just been getting these loo rolls filled with compost for the peas, I'm going to say. The variety is Meteor, and there are 8. What just dropped? I feel like it's going to chuck down. Yeah, anyway, whilst I was doing it, oh, it's just the lovely sound of, it's gone now. Where's it gone? The biggest bumblebee you can possibly imagine. Huge, great, big, fuzzy, furry, flying thing. Is lovely. They've been enjoying my brassica flowers, which are now blowing. And next door's, what did people call it? A currant bush, currant shrub, whatever it is next door. But yeah, they've been loving it. Now, I'm just going to quickly pop you in to show you. It's a month since I sowed the celery and peppers. Let's just have a quick catch up to see how they're doing. Well, here are the celery. I mean, they're minuscule, but on here I can see some of them are just about getting their first 2 leaves. There's one on there with its first 2 leaves. Oh, that one. So I'm hoping, so it's 4 weeks since sowing, exactly 4 weeks since sowing, and I'm hoping that in another week, 2 weeks maybe, I can start thinking about pricking out, maybe 4 weeks. But yeah, you can see what I was saying now about how minuscule and fiddly they are. Have patience. And then next door, gosh, it's going so dark. I think we're going to get an absolute wellying down. The peppers, you can see very erratic germination. I mentioned this column here. This is Dulong de Londe, and I didn't have much hopes for them. It's really old seed. This is Orange Bell. These 2 columns are the Fair Ozen. It's all saved seed. It's all saved from, I think it must have been 2023. But yeah, we can see, look, 2 leaves. Some of them, you can see they've come up and it seems like they can't get rid of that seed husk. There's another one down here. Come on, you can do it. But it looks like I will have 9 or 10 anyway that are viable. And yeah, I'm not going to have a bed for them specifically. They'll just get dotted around the garden wherever I can find a gap, and they will just add to the lovely colour through the summer and early autumn as they start out yellow and turn more and more orange as the autumn goes on. Yay! I can hear the bees again, and they are buzzing all around my broad beans. Yes, come on, pollinate me. Right, so much as, like I was saying right at the beginning, taking that time to make sure I've got everything to hand that I need to get on with this particular session. Likewise, making sure I give myself enough time at the end of a session to properly tidy away, put away, make sure everything goes back into the place it's supposed to be so that I can find it again. Plant labels. So I think I'm going to have a quick tidy up because, yeah, that sky is getting darker by the minute. We were forecast, it feels moist as well in the air, we were forecast a full dry day. I was hoping to do a bit more weeding today. Yeah, I don't know whether that will happen. Never mind, it'll happen as and when it can happen. The main thing is a few more things. Oh, don't knock it over me. A few more bits and pieces sown today. And if we do, just watching the activity of the birds and all the chimney pots, if we do get a little bit of rain today, more rain, great for the seeds that I've just sown. I can see it. Can you see it? Right, I'm going to have to put you away. I think it's starting to rain. See you all again really soon, quite possibly in the garden. if you can. Yeah, maybe for another session in the garden, maybe for something else, but I'll see you all again really soon. So for now, from the bees and from me, the seagulls have gone to sleep, and the seagulls, cheerio.